Well, I figure I start off my discussion of the Comic-Con panels by discussing a particular panel that holds a very near and dear place in my heart. That, of course, being Toy Story: The Time Forgot. Obviously, it is a spin-off of the popular Toy Story trilogy, and considering Toy Story not only was a big part of my childhood, but is my favorite thing to come out of Pixar. Period. Um, Yeah, you bet I was interested, and I suppose I should begin this by talking about, real quick, what I thought of their previous television special, Toy Story of Terror, which aired last Halloween. Um, I liked it. Um, I didn't really think the writing was as strong as any of the movies, but I did enjoy the fact that it focused on a character that is normally relegated to a supporting role. That character, of course, being Jessie the cowgirl. Um, because in the movies, I don't really think any of the characters are robbed per se of their time to shine, but really those movies are about Woody and Buzz. They are the main two protagonists. Okay, so to see a little mini story focusing on Jessie, I thought was actually kind of refreshing to see things from her point of view, particularly dealing with the issue of her claustrophobia. Um, and even though the writing again was not as strong, and I think there was a little bit of indecision and and lack of and lack of fine tuning when it came to balancing out the tone, whether it wanted to be scary or funny. There were a lot of points in that special that I liked, I'm really glad that I watched it. For example, Carl Weathers' character, Combat Carl, he was hilarious. Um, so when I heard that they were doing another television special, a Christmas themed one this time, yeah, I was interested. I mean, I was interested to see where it would go. There's always the danger, though, of something when you do something like this of potentially playing out the franchise to the point where it gets pretty stale. I don't really think Toy Story is at that part yet, and I love these characters so much that as long as they do it well, and as long as they keep alternating between characters, then I think they can keep this going for a long time. I don't know if I would want to see a Toy Story 4, because Toy Story 3 did really cap off the trilogy pretty nicely. But these television specials, I could really get into if they ironed out some of the kinks. But the premise of this particular special is like I said, it's Christmas themed. Or actually, it's post Christmas. Molly, the toy's new owner, goes to a post Christmas play date, and her toys come into contact with this 1980s esque collection of action figures called the Battle Swords, which, think Thundercats but with dinosaurs. Okay, so the toys come into contact with these things. They're put in this kind of gladiatorial scenario with maybe a little splash of Planet of the Apes just in the incarceration aspect. The leader of these battle swords is voiced by Kevin McKidd, and really the protagonists here are, you could probably guess this, Rex and Trixie. Not only does the special boast the voice cast from the movies: Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, Wallace Shawn as Rex, and Kristen Shaw as Trixie. Um, but also, again, it's focusing on a character that was previously only a side character. So I don't know if they're going to continue to do this. If this is going to be a pattern, who's going to be next? If they do that, is it going to be Slinky Dog, Mr. Potato Head? Um, but one thing I noticed in just the general description that they were giving, and and the overall premise, is that there's a real opportunity for a visible character arc with Rex and Trixie, especially considering how nervous Rex was in the first movie when there was this uncertainty over what Andy's last present would be, because Rex was like, "What if Andy gets another dinosaur? One who's actually scary? I just don't think I can take that kind of rejection." My Wallace Shawn impression sucks. But you get what I mean. So obviously, there are going to be all these other dinosaurs for Rex to compete with, and not only him, Trixie too. Trixie being essentially a female version of Rex. Um, she even looks like she comes from the same line of toys that he does, which I'm guessing that was no mistake. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Not just because of the voice cast, which they retain from the movies. Oh, and Timothy Dalton, I believe, is also there. But if they, like I said, if they manage to improve on Toy Story of Terror, which again I didn't think was bad, I thought was a pretty good television special. I just wish it was a little longer. I don't this which unfortunately is not really a problem that they're going to fix with this one, because again this is also going to be 22 minutes as far as I know. Maybe it's just that they don't want to block out an hour of time on ABC. Maybe it's just because they don't think kids will be able to have the necessary attention span to actually sit in their living room and watch something for an hour. I don't know, but whatever the reason, they need to be they need to make these specials longer. And I know I was not the only one, online or otherwise, who thought this about Toy Story of Terror. But yeah, I really like the fact that the toys are at least on paper being put in this very unfamiliar scenario. I keep wondering if it's going to be like the opening of Toy Story 3, where it's this very almost Jerry Bruckheimer type uh, adventure scenario where you don't they're not really toys, they're just they're just put in this ludicrous setting. It's almost like in the kid's imagination. If you've seen Toy Story 3 and you've seen the opening, you know what I'm talking about. So I wonder if it's going to be like that, or if it's just going to take place in a playroom. I do not know, but again, I'm looking forward to it. Um, it's obvious where the influence for these battle swords is coming from, especially given the poster that was illustrated. And yeah, Toy Story: The Time Forgot sounds and looks very, very entertaining. It looks like a really fun half-hour themed Christmas themed special. So yeah, I have high hopes for that one, and not just because it's Toy Story. Well, yeah, because it's Toy Story.